Hey, I'm Mrs. Rogers, and I'm here today to walk you through those three 300-word written responses to the summer reading book that you chose for this summer. All right, so to get started, let's do a real quick review of the actual assignment itself. If you go to the summer reading page, which you should be able to find on your English teacher's Google Classroom, and then click on the assignment tab located up here at the top corner, it'll bring you to this page right here. If we scroll down, it says write 3 responses about your book, 1 for each the beginning, the middle, and the end. Each written response should be approximately 300 words, which breaks down to about 1 double-spaced typed page if you're on a computer, or the front and back of a piece of notebook paper. Each written response needs to have at least 1 direct quote. You can have more, but you don't have to. You need at least 1 from the book, and it can include a reflection, your thoughts about what happened. It can talk about the description of the key characters or any other type of literary analysis. Each response should show how the ideas or events in your book connect to one another to develop the characters, the setting, or the plot, and you should make sure you discuss at least 3 key events or ideas in the sections that you're writing about. Bottom line is we just want to see that you have both read a book and then also thought about a book over the summer. So don't get too tangled up in the specifics here. I just want to make sure you're doing some analysis and some critical thinking about what you've read so far. Okay, so let's get started. You're going to open up a blank Google Doc. I've already got one here for us. Let me move this guy down. All right. So first things first, you're going to want to click up here where it says Untitled Document, and you want to give it a name so you can find this later. That's the biggest issue students have when they come back to school in the fall. They know that they did the written responses, but their Google Drive is a mess. They can't find anything. So name it something so you'll know how to find it later. In this case, this makes it a pretty easy name. I've got Born a Crime, which is the title of my book that we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to pretend that this is my second written response because I'm writing about the middle of the book. Okay. I'm going to come down here. You can give yourself a title right here if you'd like, and then start right into your response. The first thing you're going to need is some sort of topic sentence here. In this case, what I've got down is in the middle section of Trevor Noah's memoir, Born a Crime, the story that stood out to me the most was that of Trevor and his dog, Foofy. And then I go on to explain why that stood out to me. We always had pets in our house growing up, and they were like members of the family, just like Foofy was for Trevor. In this part, you're just going to maybe, if you're writing something like this, where you're connecting your own life to the book, you would just go into more detail, do some comparing and contrasting. Okay, just try to explain as best you can why you connected or why that was meaningful or important to you, that section of the book. Then we're going to get down here. It says, I especially thought that the advice he gives at the end of this particular story was meaningful. This is where we're going to add in our direct quote that we need to have, if you remember from the webpage. At the end of the chapter, Trevor Noah states, that experience shaped what I felt about relationships for the rest of my life. You do not own the thing that you love. Noah 100, so this is just a citation here. It came off of page 100 from Trevor Noah's book. This quote was especially meaningful to me because I would then go in, if this was my response, and explain in 2 or 3 sentences why I thought that quote was meaningful and important. Okay, maybe how can I apply that lesson that he learned in the book to my own life? Whether that's relationships with friends, significant others, with family members, whatever, you're going to try to, in this case, talk about why that was so meaningful for you. And then down here, this is where I make some connections. Like we talked about, you need to connect to at least 3 key events or concepts from the section of the story you're writing about. This lesson about love and relationships becomes even more relevant to Trevor later on in his life as his relationship with his mother is forced to change. In the book, Trevor Noah describes the abusive relationship his mother has with her husband Abel and the frustration Trevor feels watching his mom go through that situation. If this was my section, I would probably go on to explain more about how this quote up above, the you don't own the thing that you love, applies to this. Like, he can't control his mom's choices and actions, and even though it's frustrating, he has to let that go. And then I might also connect it to other parts of the book where he talks about different girls that he has crushes on or he tries to date and how well or not well that goes. So in this part, you're just making connections throughout the book. We want to see that you aren't just reading the chapters in isolation, but that you understand, because it's a memoir, it's a story about someone's life, that these are all little pieces and parts that fit together as a larger whole. Okay. And then down here, you just have a concluding sentence. This part can be real short. It can be like 1 or 2, maybe 3 sentences, no longer than that. Okay. To conclude, I felt that this part of the book was both emotional and helped to set the stage for the conflicts that happened with Trevor and his family later on in the text. Blah, 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 blah. You just want to kind of wrap things up, come to a conclusion that reflects the things you wrote about up previously up here, but that kind of brings everything to an end. Okay. If you are typing this assignment, periodically what you can do is check for your word count. So you just hit Control, Shift, and C if you have a Chromebook. Look, I'm already at 258 of my 300 words, and that's not even really that much on this page. Okay? So hopefully this isn't too strenuous. If you are writing it out on paper, don't feel like you have to sit and count every single word a million times. If you get front and back of a piece of notebook paper, that's fine. Okay, don't stress about, oh, I have 298 words. What am I going to do? Just get close, and we'll be okay. Okay. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful to you for how to write your written responses. If you have more specific questions about your book, feel free to reach out to your current English teacher, whoever was your English teacher back in May. They should be able to help you. We'll also be posting some other videos on this channel throughout the next few weeks. So check those out as well if you've got any questions or concerns. All right. And then if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because we will be posting content to this channel periodically. And we want to make sure you get as much help as you can without having to rely on one of us to respond really quickly to an email. All right. Well, thanks for your time, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.